Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those who'll be watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. We're in the middle of August, so I haven't asked anybody yet to subscribe. So if you enjoy what you're watching today, subscribe. I can guarantee you one thing, that nobody covers the variety of shows or movies that I cover. I cover foreign stuff, I cover oldies, modern day, and just anything that piques my interest is what I talk about. One reason I started doing this channel is because I have nobody really to talk to about my shows that I watch or the movies I see. So I figured I'd do this, and maybe some people will leave some comments below and have a conversation about what we like or dislike about a certain movie. And you never know, maybe I'll cover something that you haven't seen before, but you might never have seen it before, but you heard about, and maybe you want to know some information of it before you check it out. So yeah, feel free to subscribe. So let's talk about today's movie. So oldie, is it a goodie? I don't know. I'll let you know at the end of the video. But we'll talk about The Flight That Disappeared. The flight that disappeared is about these three individuals. Put my notes over here. These three individuals who get kind of sucked into a vortex and are being judged by people in the future, because these three people are responsible for a weapon of mass destruction, and they kind of, because of their invention, kind of ruin the world for those in the future. Makes me wonder, though, and what do you think? Leave some comments below. What would be something that's happening now in our day, or in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, that people in the future might judge us on and condemn us for doing? It's some kind of weapon, maybe some kind of philosophy, some kind of medical stuff that we've been doing now. So what's your thoughts? What's something from the future that people might condemn us for inventing in our day and time? I'll leave that open for you. If you have some comments below, maybe I'll put my thoughts and feelings in this as well. So let's get more into The Flight That Disappeared. So yeah, this is a sci-fi, and like I said, you got three individuals who are on an airplane. Everybody else on the airplane get kind of put to sleep, I guess you can say, while these three individuals are being judged by the people in the future. The movie, the dialogue is kind of interesting. The acting's not too bad. I'd say the people from the future, though, are probably like the worst actors. Of course, they got the less screen time, especially the leader of those in the future. I feel like his acting could have used a little bit of improvement. His lines were kind of like he was reading. The show kind of gives me the feeling of like the Twilight Zone, only like an hour long episode of Twilight Zone. It's kind of like the feeling, if you haven't seen the Twilight Zone, it's always about an individual who somehow gets transformed, sucked into some kind of alternate universe, or like the episode will take place in an alternate universe and there's some kind of like a weird take on what's going on in society today. This is kind of like that. Like I said, this is about these individuals getting judged for creating weapons of mass destruction, and they kind of ruin the people of the future and they're being judged. So that kind of gave me like a feeling of a Twilight Zone episode. I also, watching this, kind of like maybe think a lot about the parody Airplane. Now I know Airplane, I don't think Airplane got any of its source material from this one. I think it was something called it's another movie, slipped my mind, didn't write my notes, sorry, but it wasn't from this movie. But I got that feeling like maybe they did borrow some elements of this movie and put it in the Airplane, especially the food part. Like, it seems like there was something wrong with the airplane food with some of these passengers. Just like an airplane, how everybody was getting food poisoning. And I gotta say, like, is it true that they gave cooked steak on airplanes back in the 50s? I mean, 20 years ago, I was on an airplane from Mexico City to Chicago, and I got peanuts. What happened to my steak? Where's my steak? I would love to have some steak on a 6-hour flight. But I know I used to hear like the food on airplanes were really good. I mean, they were actually out there serving the steak. Man, we get ripped off these days, people. But yeah, so you got steak. Another thing that kind of reminded me of was the movie Lost. Not the movie Lost, but the TV series Lost. Everybody was kind of fell asleep, and then you had these certain survivors who, I guess, were asleep. If I remember right, weren't they asleep when the airplane crashed or something? And that's how they survived. I can't really remember, but I did get that feeling of the movie Lost in there as well. I should say movie, but TV series Lost. there was other stuff that, you know, the laws of physics I wrote down in my notes don't really exist in this. But, you know, as I was watching the movie, it kind of makes sense that the law of physics don't make sense in this movie. That's because they are kind of like in an alternate dimension. I say they got like sucked into a vortex. It's just me trying to explain kind of what happened. They get kind of transformed into like an alternate dimension into the future. So, you know, I would say vortex. You know, you don't really see a vortex in the show. And like I said, I would, there's better movies out there from back then. I would give this one, if you're new to the channel, well, I do usually do 3 grades, like highly recommend, which is like a fantastic movie. Everybody will love it, or 99% of the people love it. And then just a recommend, which is a solid movie, and a recommend with caution, which means usually people with certain taste of a movie or of show would like it. I'm going to give this one a recommend with caution. The storyline is interesting. I got to say it is interesting. You know, people from the present being judged from those from the past for something that they invented in modern times. Of course, this was made back then, talking about for that time period. So I did like the plot of the movie. I thought it was very well. Just like the execution, could have been done a little bit better. I feel like the acting, the dialogue, the script, the words, you know, that were being used, weren't really up to par in areas, especially when you talk about the people from the future. I feel like their acting suffered. It's not the best movie, but I'll give this a recommend with caution. If you're somebody who liked shows like The Twilight Zone and those type of movies, I think this would be for you. I think it's only like a little over an hour, so it's not like it's very long. I mean, it's something you're bored with, and like I said, you like those type of shows, it would be something to check it out. It's not gonna waste your whole day. It's like I think the running time was probably like an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 if I remember right. That's all I really got to say. If you see this Flight That Disappeared, leave some comments below. What's your feelings? Did you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's bad? And what do you think? What would something that we would be judged that we made today that the people of the future might disagree with and condemn us to death? Anyways, have a great day. Hopefully you'll check me out in another video. Hope you enjoyed this one. And until the next video, bye.